Hello and welcome to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to bring you some company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the Night Feed. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is Five in the Bed. Yes. You know, when you have one of those evenings, one of those nights where you just have to radically accept that you are not going to sleep. One of those nights where all five of us were in the bed. My middle child was running a marathon throughout the night, so there was an elbow to the shoulder blade every 5 minutes or so. We did try and resettle them in their own beds, but it was not happening. And you just have to radically accept it, that you're going to be really tired tomorrow and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's funny, it's ironic, because that night the baby was sleeping really, really well. And you're like, wow, I could have had 8 hours tonight. Could have had that sacred 8 hours, but you know what, it's one of those nights. And I know what they all say on Instagram: when you're 80, you'll yearn for these moments. And I know I will. It's just in the moment, when you're getting elbowed all through the night, it can be a little bit difficult. But if there is one moral to that story, it is always get a super king size bed if you're having more than one child. It is about 3 degrees here today, and it feels like -10. And I'm not being dramatic. Well, maybe I am being dramatic, but it's cold, it's icy, it's bug season, and our poor baby boy is still building his immunity to all these nasty bugs that keep coming into the house. And you know, when the baby gets a bug, it just throws everything out, doesn't it, in terms of sleep, and the poor little thing's teething as well. So it's just one of those where some nights you feel like, wow, this is tough. And you just want to take the pain away, as I've spoke about before. We've tried different teething remedies. It turns out they just want to be held and rocked. And, you know, there's not too much you can do other than that, is there, at times? So yeah, we're getting through it. And you know what's great is that Christmases are coming, isn't it? And if you're anything like me, Christmas as a parent is just magical. I love it. I love seeing Christmas through their eyes as kids, seeing the magic, feeling the magic like I used to feel as a kid, and just making it all happen. And I actually found a advent calendar online, which I thought I'd tell you about. It's a Little People, Big Dreams advent calendar. You know those little books about historical figures? Well, it was only £12 on Amazon, and each day of Advent they get a little book about a historical person. I thought it's really cool. Little, you know, I'm not into these like £200 advent calendars. I thought it's only £12, and it's got all these little books in for them. And the reason I stumbled across it is because my eldest has been showing a real interest in historical people lately. We were watching a little video about Amelia Earhart, the pilot, and she found it fascinating. And we got down a little YouTube rabbit hole the other day together, and we were watching videos about her. And then we stumbled across Marie Curie, and we were watching a video about her. And I just loved it because I did history at uni. So this is right up my alley. I'm like, yes, we can learn about history all day long. And the fact that she's really starting to show interest in it is really exciting for me. So I was looking at getting some of those books for Christmas for her. And then I saw this advent calendar. I thought, oh, perfect. So yeah, it's on Amazon at the moment. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the show notes if you're interested. But yeah, I was in my absolute element reading and watching these people with her. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And Granny also brought the Dairy Milk advent calendars, which are ready and waiting. I was not eyeing them up the other night when I had a chocolate craving. Didn't go there. I held back. But speaking about kids and learning, my eldest started school in September, and it's been so amazing to see how she's come on in a matter of, well, weeks and months, really. I nearly fell from a chair the other night because we were... Oh, my little co-host is starting to wait. Go on, it's okay. Okay. We were making Christmas jars with sequins to take into school, and she had a green sequin, and she said, "Oh, Mummy, I can spell green." I said, "Oh, wow, okay." She went, "G-r." No, she said she spells it phonetically, so it was like G-r-e-n. And I was like, "Yeah, G-r-e-n is green, isn't it?" She went, "No, Mummy, no. You don't say two S sounds, you say E because it's a digraph." Well, I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, what in the English A-level are you talking about? Madness, isn't it? 1 minute you're bringing them home from the hospital in the little car seat, and the next they're correcting you on your grammar. I came across a post on Reddit, and I just thought it's quite eye-opening this topic. And I only came across the differences from doing this podcast, really. So the post said 12 weeks of maternity leave is straight up cruel, which I completely agree with. And I didn't really realise the differences. Obviously, I knew of differences with maternity leave around the world. And I luckily, wonderfully, have listeners all over the world. So I get emails and messages about this quite regularly and how it differs across different countries. And this post says, "Today is my second day back at work after having my son via emergency C-section on September the 6th. It's actually nice to be back. My team gave me a very warm welcome and I'm very loved here, and it shows. It's also nice to be around other adults during the day instead of being cooped up in my apartment with the baby all day. But I really underestimated how hard it was going to be. I miss him and worry about him all day long. Literally sick with worry. It's almost physically painful for me to be away from him. I cried the entire way back to work today and yesterday. And it sucks only to see my son from 5:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then 5 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. It's not enough and I hate it. He's still so little and it feels so wrong. Just a rant." And the comments were all, concurring with this. Some people are in the same boat. Some people are completely flabbergasted, like myself. Coming from the UK, we actually get a really great maternity package. I mean, I actually Googled it after reading this post. We're in the top 10 countries for maternity leave. So just out of interest, the top country for maternity leave is Estonia, which is 62 weeks. Croatia's in there, Bulgaria, the UK, we get 52 weeks statutory maternity leave. Montenegro, Ireland, Macedonia, Norway, all these countries give at least 35 weeks maternity leave, whether that's full pay, part pay, statutory, that's what's given. And I always kind of took that for granted living in the UK, like, yeah, you get a year off, but then even here, some companies only do 6 months or whatever. But then the top 10 worst countries, and this really shocked me. I knew it was bad, but it shocked me that the USA gets 0 weeks of statutory. So employers there, according to this article, are not under any obligation to give maternity leave. And this woman is based in the US that wrote this original post. And some of the comments are quite eye-opening. Like, I went back after 10 days with my first. Then there was another one that said, my colleague in Target went back to work less than 2 weeks after giving birth because it was her only income. She could hardly stand. They acted like they were doing her a favour, letting her have a chair in front of the cash register. Can you believe that? I can't even fathom it. After 2 weeks of having a baby, I was still predominantly in bed, thankfully. And you realise how lucky you are. And it's easy to take that leave for granted. But there's people out there that are literally back after 2 weeks. I can't believe it. Someone else has put, I had to share an 8-week leave with my husband. We work for the same employer, and that's how the policy was written. Oh my goodness. I had my son via C-section and had to be back in the office 2 weeks after. What? No, 3 weeks. Oh my goodness, no. I had him at the end of December and had to be in on the second week of February after a C-section. Oh my gosh. And the comment is because the US hates women. Oh gosh, it's awful, isn't it? It's astonishing. And honestly, some people only get 6 weeks. Oh my goodness. And it's that attachment you have with your baby, isn't it? It's like primal. You like become a lioness. And like the original poster said, when you're in the house with them, sometimes you're like, oh, I need to get out, I need to see people. But then when you have to put them in daycare at 3 months old or younger, I can completely imagine that yearning and that longing and that almost pain that you would feel to be away from them. So I'm so sorry if you're going through this. And I really, really hope things change in these countries where maternity leave just is hardly existent. So the USA 0 weeks, Papua New Guinea 0 weeks, Tunisia is 4, Malawi is 8, Sudan is 8 weeks, Mozambique is 9 weeks, and Cape Verde is 9 weeks. So there's a few places here that's, it's just, there's just nothing for women there. The UK ranks 13th on the list. Luckily, thankfully, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Why isn't it standard that there is 52 weeks? Come on, a year, even if that's 6 months full pay, 6 months statutory pay, which I think is what we get in the UK. I know, I don't know. It changes from company to company, and I know some companies have better policies than others. Some companies you get full pay for a year. If you're self-employed like me, you get statutory pay, and every circumstance changes, doesn't it? And everyone's in a different circumstance. If you're a single parent and that's your only source of income, then you have to go back, and it's just mind-boggling. And it really broke my heart reading that post. This poor woman, really struggling with it, and all the comments are very similar. And I come back to the battle that we always speak about on this podcast, that women, when they're in their early 20s nowadays, generally, especially in the Western world, are told you can have it all. You can go to university, you can become a doctor, you can work, and then you can have your baby, and then everything will go back as it was. When it won't. And especially if you live in a country where you're not getting much maternity leave, you are going to have a baby and have to go straight back to work because you'll have built up your life on 2 incomes. And it's a bit warped how things are turning out, I think, for parents at the moment. And if you're going through this, I really feel for you. And I think some big, big changes need to happen. I came across another post, and I just thought I would share it as a bit of a kind of warning, I suppose, if it's not something you've thought about. And it says posting pictures of your kiddos and AI. AI has just come on phenomenally, hasn't it, in the last year? Whether you use it or you don't, you'll be seeing how it's changing a lot of things. And this original poster has put here, I fell down a TikTok rabbit hole tonight and I'm now terrified in the process removing all the pictures of my little one off my social media. I'm terrified of these new AI generators and what they're capable of. Before my child was born, I was steadfast in not wanting to post his face online. But then he was born, and I was so excited to show off my family, to close friends, this amazing human being. But now I'm terrified to post pictures of myself, much less of my innocent toddler. I've even considered taking down the pictures I have of him on my desk at work due to the fact that they're visible to the public. Do any other parents feel this type of anxiety? I have always been very, very conscious of this. I think I've posted a handful of pictures of my children, just of when they're born, to announce the birth for the 3 of them, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other pictures. And it kind of was when I had my first. I remember that feeling. You just want to show them off. You just want to show them off to the world. You're so proud of them. And even when they do things now, you're like, oh my God, I could just share that. That's so cute that she just said that. And I've just been always of the camp to not share. Because I have a moment and I'm like, no, just don't. And that's my personal preference. We all have our own personal preferences when it comes to social media. But it is just something to be wary about, this whole AI, what it can do with pictures of faces. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it's just something to be mindful of, because I read a few years ago about digital footprints, and as soon as you share your child online, they get a digital footprint, and that is just sharing their name, sharing their picture, sharing their date of birth. That is their digital footprint, and anybody in the world can find that out. It's like in the public domain. So it's just a reminder to think about that, because I think with the progression of AI, things may continue to spiral a little bit, and we may come to a point a few years down the line where we all want to just remove the pictures of the kids. And I hope it doesn't, because the internet can be very dark, but it can also be very lovely. And I know the feeling of wanting to share your gorgeous kids and just show them off, because we all love our kids and we all want to show our kids off. It's just something to have in the back of your mind, like this original poster. I know a lot of people set their social media to private if they're going to share their children on there. It's a changing world, and social media's always been a crazy place. And I do think there's something to be said for the kids who are in influencer families, shall we say. I see a lot of them on Instagram, and they're all under the age of 10. And I do wonder what happens when they grow up and realise what they've been doing. You know, oh, the whole world saw you blow your candles out on your 3rd birthday, and they saw you do that really funny thing with your teddy that was just a private moment for me and you, but actually 3 million people saw that because I've got a lot of followers. And I think there's going to be a bit of an attack of consciousness with the parents that have instigated that and the children that have gone along with it unknowing. And I know maybe that these parents maybe have conversations with the kids around it, like, do you know, we are quite well known on social media, we have XYZ followers. The kids won't really grasp that until the teenagers, will they? They won't really grasp what 1 million followers means. What's a follower? What's a person around the world? And I think it's already happening at the moment, isn't it? I think there was some kids that technically divorced their parents. They broke off from their parents because of this incessant sharing. They shared everything they did. And there's 1 or 2 influencers I follow that share way, way, way too much. And you think, what? That is none of your business to be sharing your kid's broken arm in A&E. You know, you're like, that is a sensitive thing between you and your family. And I just think, come on, guys, have a little bit of a think before you put everything on there. Like I said earlier, I'll have little moments now and then when my little 2 will come out. Well, I'm 3 now, but my 2 older kids will come out with really funny things, and I've caught it on camera. And I'm like, oh my God, I could just share that because that is the cutest thing. And I don't, because that's my personal preference. So it just struck me a little bit, that post, and I thought I'll share that just in case it's something you've maybe not really considered, the whole landscape of what social media and AI are now. Next tonight is an email I've received, and the title of the email says, "Get out while the baby is still a newborn. Hi Charlotte, big fan of the podcast. I've learned a lot since I began listening 6 months ago. If anything, it's made me a bit more chill about motherhood, so thank you." Well, that's great to hear. I should have heeded your advice to get out with the baby, even if it's just a short stroll. My baby is now 6 months and won't sleep outside because I hardly went out when she was young, and she's just too curious about the outdoor world now. My friends are telling me to enjoy this stage of going out because it's a whole different ballgame with a toddler. I wanted to share this advice and remind your listeners to encourage themselves to get out while their babies are still newborn or little. Love, Stacey, very tired, Cambridge. Thank you, Stacey. And totally agree. I think the longer you leave it, the more it builds up, and the more it seems like a huge deal to get out of the house. Because you know it's like when you go anywhere, you feel like you're taking everything but the kitchen sink sometimes. You've got to change your clothes, you've got the nappies, you've got the baby wipes, But the less you worry, as long as your baby's warm, wrapped up and fed, then go out and enjoy it. My youngest boy, he really doesn't like the pram or the car seat. And I've noticed a big difference this time round at how much more I'm staying in, which I don't like. Because when I had the girls, it didn't faze me. It really didn't. I didn't allow it to faze me going out with both of them. Even when my middle child was newborn, I'd go out, go to play groups, we'd go to play centres. I wouldn't let having 2 under 2 stop me from going out. And they were both great in the car. They both loved their pram. But my little boy, he's a little monkey because he won't go in the car seat. He hates it. And even in his pram, he doesn't love it. So I have resorted to the sling. And I'm getting to the point now where he's almost 6 months and I'm like, yeah, my back's starting to hurt a little bit. So I'm in the process of getting him more used to the pram. And once he's in it, he's okay. He's looking around now. I have started using the seated attachment on the pram, lay back a bit so he can see more, because I think when he was flat on his back he just really didn't like it. But yeah, I agree with this listener. I think the more you can get out in those early weeks and months, the more you will get out and the less phased you'll be by it. It's easy to stay in, and it's easy to stay in that newborn bubble. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I'm still in my pajamas now recording this podcast. He's breastfed on my knee. He has his nap of a morning on me at the moment, which is stopping me from getting a lot of things done. But at the same time, I can record my podcast, I can do my admin, I can do some emails, and he's quite content on my knee. So I have fell into a bit of a rut with that a little bit. I need to get a bit more, come on, we're going for a walk in the pram. I'm going to put you down while you nap so I can get a few bits done. But yeah, coming back to getting out with them while they're newborn. The next tonight is what's trending. And what's trending is a quote from a podcast which says, if you have children, don't expect to sleep for 5 years. And I'm sorry if you're holding a brand new newborn and you're a first time mum and you're going, what? You will sleep, hypothetically, you will. But what this person was saying, it was just a clip, I'll have to find it and put who it was in the show notes. They were saying, when we have children nowadays, we can be quite guilty of wanting our lives to go back to exactly as it was. So we'll have the baby and we'll see all these things about sleep training and sleep routines, and, you know, they'll be telling us by 6 months your baby should be sleeping through and you should be able to enjoy a date night with your partner and get someone to look after the baby, and you should be able to go out and go carry on doing your hobbies again, and your life will resume during nap time, you'll be able to do this and this. And it's just not the case. I am going to be here to tell you that if you are being influenced by all this stuff about newborns sleeping through and babies having a great sleep routine, then it isn't always the case, and it isn't for me. I think we have a relatively good routine, but the baby's not sleeping through, and I think all this influence on social media is telling all of us new mums that we're wrong, that our baby isn't sleeping through, and why are we still feeding the baby in the night. And this person on this podcast was saying, the more we accept for the first 5 years that things are going to be very, very, very different, the better it is for everybody. The better it is for our relationship, the better it is for our relationship with friends and family, the better it is for our relationship with our children, because we're not getting frustrated and we're not getting annoyed when they wake after 45 minutes of a sleep cycle and we're like, oh, well, the baby on Instagram doesn't do that. Well, no, every baby is completely different. And I read another quote which says 9 months in you, 9 months on you, and 9 months next to you. And it's basically saying how a newborn baby up until 4 months, I think, still thinks they're part of your body, don't they? They still think that they're attached to you. And the more we push this narrative that baby should be in a cot away from you in another room and should be sleeping quite happily. As long as you've got the monitor on, they're okay, it's all good. I mean, if that helps you and that's what you want to do, I'm just talking about people that are seeing that and feeling pressured or feeling bad that their baby doesn't do that. All three of mine have co-slept. My son currently co-sleeps, although we have the next to me. And the other night I put him in that and he did do a good stretch. He did a good stretch. Now he's getting a bit older. But I'm in no rush to make him sleep through the night right now. I know that he needs me in the night. I know that he wants to be close to me in the night because this whole world's brand new, isn't it? 6 months in, he's in a brand new world. He's at night laying on a cold hard mattress away from me is going to be different. And I saw a girl on Instagram who had a baby the same time as me, so an almost 6-month-old, and she did a sleep training. She's based in the States, and I feel like a difference between, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, because I know I have a lot of American listeners. So if I'm wrong on this, please email me. I know a big disparity between here and the US is in the US, co-sleeping is really not encouraged at all. I think it's very much have your baby's nursery ready, get them in that routine of sleeping in their own cot, away from you. Whereas here in the UK, we have like the safe sleep guidance, which is becoming more and more prevalent now. Because I think what was happening here is a lot of mums were co-sleeping and maybe not saying they were because they were scared that people would say, oh, you can't do that. But actually what's happened now is there's way more advice about it, way more information about how to do it safely, which is really important. And I think that has helped me personally get some sleep because my babies would not go down in their cot, especially for the first 6 months. It would be every hour or every 2 hours or every 3 hours if I was lucky. Whereas now with the co-sleeping, sleep stays quite consistent. And I'm not encouraging it if you don't want to do that, because I know it is looked upon differently all around the world. But I just wanted to flag this about not expecting good sleep for 5 years, because I think it's important to realise that not everybody out there has a brilliant sleeper. In fact, I would probably say 10% have brilliant sleepers and 90% of us are all muddling through. And don't be influenced by all these sleep coaches, which I think are great. I think if you need to go back to work, like this lady after 12 weeks, you are going to need sleep to function, of course. So there is a space for that and getting the baby to get used to start sleeping through the night. But if that doesn't work, you can't beat yourself or the baby up about it. It's kind of like the baby's a newborn. And I thought that person on that podcast saying, don't expect sleep or your life to resume to normal for 5 years was really important to hear. So I hope that helps. If you are struggling with sleep, just know that you aren't alone. And my self-care tip for this evening, which I'm going to do after that listener email now before I go and pick up my middle child from nursery, is to go for a nice crisp winter walk. Get the baby bundled up. Apparently, cool fresh air is good for them. So get them bundled up, get them in the pram, even put a podcast on. You can carry on listening to this. And get out there, go for a walk. A walk is amazing for you, both physically and mentally, and you will come in full of endorphins and feel so much better just for getting out. Even if you do 20 minutes, even if you do 10 minutes, get outside, get that sun on your face if you've got any, which, like I said, we have today. It's rare, but we've got it. So yeah, and enjoy that walk. Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote. Right now, you're caught in the strangest paradox, wishing for time to speed up and slow down all at once. Some days feel impossibly long, the sleepless nights, the endless feeds, the crying that you can't always fix. You count the hours until bedtime, the days until the next milestone, telling yourself that it will get easier. And it will. But then, in the quiet moments when their tiny fingers wrap around yours, when their sleepy head rests on your chest, when they giggle just for you, you wish you could freeze time just for a little while, because you know deep down that one day you'll miss this. One day your arms won't ache from carrying them all day. One day you won't be the first person they reach for when they're scared or tired. One day their little hands will be too big to hold like this. So here you are, torn between exhaustion and love, between wanting a break and never wanting to let go. If no one has told you today, you're doing an incredible job. It's okay to wish for time to move faster. It's okay to wish for it to slow down. It just means you love them with everything you have, and that's all they'll ever need. Thanks for listening, as always, tonight. If you can and you're enjoying the podcast, do remember to leave me a review or a rating wherever you listen, and keep your emails coming in. I always love hearing from you, and I'll always reply, even if I don't read them out on the podcast. Keep them coming in. And I wish you all a restful, peaceful night ahead. Good night.